Go Vikings, let's win this game.
Viking Nation, prepare to enter Valhalla with the most entertaining podcast of the Minnesota Vikings. And now, Odin's Den with A-Train and the Hammer.
Hi, this is legendary coach Bart Grant, thanking you for listening to this podcast. Thor's bedroom. Odin's Den. Oh, Odin's Den. You're listening to Odin's Den. And don't forget my rummage sale coming up.
Oh, baby, we're back on the Odin's Den Pod Fart, episode 125, with A-Train and...
A-Train, how the hell are you?
You're supposed to say your name, man, not your catchphrase.
Oh, you know how that works.
Yeah. Ronster loves it every time he hears it,
I
he
am
says.
always going to start out every episode asking you how the hell you're doing.
Yeah. And you already know the answer to that.
No, I don't.
I'm filled with Christmas cholesterol.
Hell, aren't we all?
Yes, I hope everybody had a good holiday season and Christmas. I know mine was good. Hammer's was probably good as well.
Well, aside from the result of the game we watched, yes.
Yeah, that's kind of a little stinky turd on Christmas Day to throw a wrench in the fun festivities with family and friends. But either way, we'll break down the Saints game here, obviously, on episode 125. There isn't a whole lot of news to talk about, but we will give you everything you want to hear, Vikings Nation. But yes, I hope everybody had a great Christmas, got the gift you wanted. If you got a crappy Packer shirt, you could throw it in the garbage and then head on over to odinsdenpodcast.com and pick up an I'm with Stupid shirt instead. What do you think of that, Hammer?
Set that Packer shirt on fire, then throw it away.
You know, I just had the thought. You should give your sister, a Packer fan, the I'm with Stupid Odin's Den shirt.
I don't think that would go over well.
That's the whole point. That's why it'd be a great gift. It's for us to laugh and point our finger at the same time. Ha ha. Like Nelson Muntz. That's why nobody came to my birthday party.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on with episode 125 of Odin's Den. I'm the A-Train. That's the Hammer. Speaking of me being the A-Train with a proper title at the front, Hammer gave me the nice Christmas gift, the lovely gift of a custom hoodie-styled, it isn't hoodie material. It's kind of like what the team, like the coaches wear on the sideline. It's almost like what you'd see them wear, but Hammer gave me a nice little hoodie-style Vikings custom number with the A-Train on the back. And the number was what again? 93.
93.
93, one of my favorite numbers, K-Will and John Randall.
Yeah, well, I know you're big in 93 because of those two guys.
That is correct. That is correct.
We got a nice little hoodie for you. It's got some stitching on the back that says the A-Train.
Yeah.
I thought it was a rather nice Christmas gift from myself.
It is. I think it's one of the best gifts you've ever given me, besides a Caribou gift card, of course. You can never go wrong with a Caribou gift card.
Well, Caribou gift card's number one. I mean, that's just how it is.
Hell yeah, man.
They are not a sponsor of ours. We just love Caribou coffee that much.
But they can send a check
free
at any
plug.
time.
They can keep their check. Free plug.
Yeah, they could give us some free coffee. That'd be nice.
Oh, I would love that.
I mean, I end up paying, I think, over $6 for my mochas, but I do have one with the alternative milk, which is adding on money. But yes, it is getting a little out of hand.
You know, another great group of people that gives us things for free, like access to their forum, would be purplepainforums.com.
Purplepainforums.com, and you can clack your keys and say, you know what? Aaron Rodgers is the greatest ever.
Well, at any rate, go to purplepainforums.com. Lots of discussion over there right now. Lots of people arguing back and forth on if we should be firing Spielman and Zimmer right now. All sorts of good stuff.
You probably don't like to see all that Zimmer talk. Probably brings a subtle tear to your subtle ear.
Well, I am of the opinion that Spielman and Zimmer should get one more year.
Yeah,
I'd like to give them one more year before I would think about firing both of them.
I feel like wouldn't the head coach go before a GM anyway?
Most of the time, yes.
I mean, you got to really be shitting your pants as a GM to get your ass kicked out of there.
Most of the time, a head coach would get fired first. Sometimes they both will get fired at the same time. That happens too. I mean, because
they kind of came in. Oh, Spielman was there before Zimmer.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Spielman was
not a long time, though, was he?
Well, Spielman's been with the team since 2006.
Okay.
He's only been the GM, I believe, since 2011 or 12.
Okay, so he had 2-3 years on Zimmer then.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, check out purplepainforums.com. Share your thoughts about who should be fired, because obviously it's easy for us to sit at home in our chairs and say, fire that guy, and point our fingers, when we've never played a day of football in our lives.
Oh, the good folks at Purple Pain, they will make you earn every inch of an argument. I love
especially that Rain Man guy.
Well, a lot of them. There's a lot of opinions on Purple Pain. It's great stuff. It's a lot of smart people there.
Yep, check them out. Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and get into the news. There's not even enough news to play the news title segment. But
yeah, what you got over there, A-Train?
Either way, I mean, not much. I think there were 2 transactions on Vikings.com since the last podcast. One being the practice squad protected Kyle Hinton, and he's a guard.
Mm-hmm.
That was on December 22nd. On the 24th, on Christmas Eve, we had the elevation of fullback Jake Bargas and defensive end Eddie Yarbrough to the active roster from the practice squad. So we just brought up 2 gentlemen from practice squad to active.
Oh, that's right. CJ Ham, was he on the COVID list, I think?
I think he was, yes.
Yeah.
I think he was.
Yeah, he didn't play.
Yep. There's so many new bodies and kind of unknown people on the team right now. It's really, it shouldn't really be a surprise why we just got our asses beat, to be honest, but
yeah, this was a bit of an ass kicking.
Yes. And it was like you said, or I think you made a comment on the last podcast. It was kind of a revenge game for the Saints, if you will. They've still probably been looking for it since, I mean, we beat them after the Minneapolis Miracle in the playoffs last year as well.
Oh, yeah,
so
we've ended their season twice in the last 4 years.
Right. So, as you said, they were kind of probably wanting to put the screws to us a little bit, as they say. So,
and put the screws to us, they did.
And then they held up the screwdriver and started twisting very, very early on. But yes, we'll get into that, though. As far as a couple other little news, or not news, but just little tidbits that I kind of saved off to the side.
Oh, we got some A-Train tidbits coming up.
A-Train's tidbits. That needs to be a segment.
Oh, what you got over there?
It's just, I have one thing that's uplifting and another thing that's not uplifting. The whole, like I mentioned to you, that Ngakoue still leads the team in sacks, and he hasn't been on the team for how many months? That's very sad and kind of telling of our D-line here.
That is embarrassing.
Yeah. I feel like our D-line was probably better the first half of the year, and he was a part of it, but regardless, it's just gotten worse, I feel like, this last stretch, but worse, not as aggressive. Maybe it's the play calling, who knows.
Well, we've been on the wrong end of time of possession, won too many games this year. Our D-line's just tired.
Correct. Well, and the fact that there's at least 4 examples of us winning TOP and not winning the game, too.
Well, that has no bearing on, I mean, it's just the time of possession is affecting them over the course of the season.
Yeah,
it's a cumulative effect, A-Train.
Yeah. It works all the time, right?
60% of the time, it works every time.
That's time of possession for you.
And that reminds me real quick, just as a side note, I did find that drop for you. I can show you where to find that after this episode. And,
Well, you probably should have shown it before so I could have used it.
well, okay, we'll have it ready
You
for next time.
fucking dink.
Yeah.
I'm not having this bullshit.
Zimmer wants you to step up the pod card game here. God.
Well, it
Talk
was
about Mr. Minimum Requirements over here.
It was a tough week for yours truly. I lost the score prediction game, so now I officially owe you a Firehouse sub.
Yeah. I said, we might as well just mention it since you brought it up. I said Vikings win because I'm a homer, 26-22. Higher scoring than yours. That's really all that you need to know.
That's
you said,
all. Yeah,
you said
you
said 17-20. So, and that the Saints. You said that the Saints would win, but you had a kind of a. I'd call that a lower scoring game. Maybe kind of more of a mid scoring.
I predicted
game,
a lower scoring. Yeah, 20-17.
Yep. And it ended up being. Let me look here real quick. 33-52. Hello.
Ugh.
Hello points.
Yikes.
Hello, 6 touchdowns for my. God, I wish I had Alvin Kamara on any of my teams.
So if I would have just gone a little higher than you, like if I would have predicted the Saints winning 28-24,
Right.
something like that, then I would have won. But
Correct.
spilt milk, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
I sealed the deal. It already should have been sealed, to be honest, but I sealed the deal, and I can't wait for that delectable. We'll have to pick a time to go get that delectable Firehouse sub and post a picture of you crying again to the Instagram.
Oh, a picture of me flicking off your camera because I'm
Correct.
buying you a sub.
Correct. I think last time it was just a picture of the sub, and you were just kind of in the background with this dumb look on your face. Or
yeah,
something.
I think you maybe took that picture before I knew you were going to take it, so I was just kind of.
That's the best kind of picture.
Yeah.
That is the best kind of picture. Just don't blow it.
You blew it. Capiche?
Yeah, I already blew it. So
You gotta get a nice middle finger going for the camera. All right. So trying to be positive on a good
I need this.
on a good note. Let me find it here. After the Saints game, Dalvin Cook has more rushing touchdowns than 19 NFL teams.
Wow.
That's a bright spot. And if you want another bright spot to not cry too hard yourself to sleep at night, I think I said that backwards. Kirk Cousins is the first quarterback in Vikings history with 25-plus passing TDs in 3 straight seasons. And the Vikings Nation Facebook page says, I will never understand why Vikings fans want him gone so bad.
Well, I do want to move on.
I'll tell you, Vikings Nation poster, and I'd like your Facebook page and everything, but I'll explain to you in A-Train terms on why we all want him gone, even though he's done that. He can't scramble. He has shitty fucking awareness. He can't extend plays. He likes the fetal position. Yes, he has a shitty O-line, but he can barely run the... I feel like I could do a better job of running the fucking football. And I am not an athlete at all. Like Ronster says, give anybody a pair of sweatpants and they could look better out there than some other people, but or something like that. But no, but it's just all these other times you see him not do good. I feel like is negative. It's easy to have negative overshadow positive, but you could say it's up to what I focus on. Either focus on the positive or you focus on the negative. That's true. But I just feel like I can't ignore all the dumb things he does and all the shitty plays.
In all fairness, part of this is just the contract. I mean,
that's one of many things.
I mean, part of this isn't actually Kirk Cousins so much as Kirk Cousins' contract. Is if we can get out from under his contract and have a good quarterback on his rookie deal, I mean, that would do wonders for our salary cap.
Yes.
That, to be fair, it isn't completely just because of Kirk Cousins.
Performance.
But at the same time, with Cousins, like you said, he's not mobile.
Not at all.
I mean, look, he isn't the worst quarterback in the league.
Nope.
He's a decent QB.
He's serviceable.
I'd rather get a guy in that has more potential.
If you'd ask me if I thought if he was better than Case Keenum, I would say, not really.
Well, I think he is better than Case Keenum.
Like barely, and only in certain ways. Like
Well,
long bombs.
In some ways, Keenum is better.
Long bombs, fine.
Well, Keenum is more mobile.
Yeah. Oh, he can extend plays. He's very mobile. I mean, he gave us the Minneapolis Miracle. That was such a great season with that journeyman backup retard quarterback. Oh, okay. Then why do we have such a great fucking season? And our O-line was what, as shitty as it is now? I mean, give me a break, man.
I mean, at this point, if you offered me the choice of either we're not going to draft a QB first round next year and we're just going to go with Cousins for the next 5 years, whatever, going to extend him again. If you offered me that versus, we'll draft Trey Lance in the first round this year coming up and, give him a year or two behind, Cousins and then go with him for the future, I would rather have Trey Lance. I would rather draft Trey Lance first round and give him a shot at being our QB.
Part of me wants to just focus on, regardless of who our quarterback, I feel like we're going to keep having quarterback problems unless we address the bigger issue of the offensive line.
And that is very fair also.
Part of me doesn't give a fuck who's at quarterback. Let's get like 3 top 3-round draft picks of O-linemen that actually work out and get like a 2 years ago Dallas Cowboys fucking offensive line. That's what I want. Then you could put my grandpa in at fucking quarterback and we'd look great. I mean, let's build up that O-line, man. Otherwise, we'll just keep being a revolving door of, people that get sacked all the time. Give me a break, man.
Yeah, that's a good segue. Let's talk about the game.
Well, actually, I got something else to play first.
All right, my apologies.
For anybody who might be newer, maybe you should get to know the Hammer a little bit better.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
So we have...
Is this a Hammer Spotlight?
We have a Hammer Spotlight. It's like a player focus for somebody who's not even close to being a player.
Yeah.
I'd give you Turd of the Week, but I can't. All right, here we go, everybody.
He stands at 5 feet 10 inches tall. He comes from the land of Cheese and Rogers. He can bench over 100 pounds in a single try. His king is rarely in danger, unless he's playing chess against Nate Wright. He plays chess against Nate Wright with one hand tied behind his back. He attended the same college as Stephen Weatherly, Dartmouth. His catchphrase is a work in progress.
Adrian, how the hell are you? Adrian, how the hell are you?
He's the Hammer. The Hammer. On Odin's Den.
Well, that's all factually correct. Unless you want to fact check it.
No.
Unless you want to nitpick.
And then most of that is not factual.
Whatever, dude.
Well, for one thing, I didn't go to Dartmouth, and neither did Stephen Weatherly.
Blah, blah, blah.
That is an old school reference for this podcast, by the way.
You can play chess with one arm tied behind your back, though.
Yeah, and I did see Nate Wright on the escalator at U.S. Bank Stadium.
You are friends with All-Pro corner Nate Wright. So.
Yeah, I am friends with Nate Wright.
That's why we got the drop.
I am 5'10", 5'11"-ish. Yeah.
And you can bench 100 pounds
I can.
once.
I can do that.
Once.
Yes.
One time. The host profiles. I just hadn't played one for a while. I thought maybe we could bust one out again. And it's got everybody's favorite catchphrase of how the hell are you?
Yeah, that definitely has some old school references that some listeners might not understand if they've only been listening to us for a year or two.
True, but it's still a great host profile.
That's nice production value.
High quality host profile.
I give you that.
Yes. I just like dusting those off every once in a while because they're still funny. I think comedy-wise, they will never be old. They might have a dated reference, or, I mean, J-Rock hasn't even... makes me laugh every time I hear it, but he hasn't ever came back since, the first or second season that he co-hosted one time, and he's never came back and probably doesn't listen anymore. That's okay. We still said nothing but love his way. That thing always makes me laugh, but nobody's going to know who the hell he even is.
When we had a super fan that did the voice work for that you just played, right?
Correct.
It was a super fan that just volunteered to make a make an audio package for yours truly.
I mean, it wasn't just you make it sound like it's just a random person
Well,
who reached out to us. We definitely know the gentleman.
Yeah, he's someone we were friends with. Yeah.
But yes, he was very, very, very supportive in the first couple of years of the podcast, helped me out with some audio stuff like that, because he is an audio wizard himself of sorts, like professionally, like at his day job.
Yeah, very nice.
I'm just interested in audio as a hobby. That's pretty much why I'm even still doing this right now. Otherwise, I just like podcasts. I like listening to them. I like going behind the scenes and making one.
Well, yeah,
so.
you had been involved in other podcasts before this one, not Vikings related, right? Or was it just public radio?
Yeah, I was on a local college public radio called KNDS.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I was like, okay, I like this stuff, these microphones, being creative, being funny, messing with pre-recorded stuff. Like that's kind of where me wanting to do that stuff started, being on local free public radio as the producer.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah, but no, I'd never done a podcast before this.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And then I sat down and was like, I'm going to find a Vikings podcast. And all of them were either boring or just not an entertainment value level that I was used to at the time. So I thought, might as well try to tantalize people's ears with my own nasally drone.
Oh, yeah. And then you came to me just begging to be on this podcast.
Yeah, whatever, motherfucker.
Well, you were pretty much on your knees. Just
Yeah. Well, now you're making it sound weird, bro. I had never got down on my knees. Jeez.
Poor little A-Train was desperate for a co-host.
All right, let's go ahead and get into... I got to admit, I wouldn't have done this by myself.
So desperate for the hammer.
So let's go on and move on to this trash heap of a game.
If we must.
Yeah, I guess we have to. We watched the highlights before.
I watched the game
ourselves
on Christmas Day with my dad, and neither of us was happy, of course.
Yeah, see, I avoided that sadness by just trying to get caught up after the fact, and I tried to enjoy my Christmas Day. Say whatever you want, but I was pretty happy on Christmas Day,
well,
keeping this to the side until later.
Well, it worked out that way. I mean, but you know what? One of my favorite Viking memories from when I was a kid was when the Vikings played the Bengals on Christmas Day. I believe it was 1989. Yeah, I think it was 31 years ago. And it was a game where we clinched a playoff spot and knocked the Packers out of the playoffs by winning that game. And it was a game where they actually had cameras in Don Makowski's living room, because they showed some Packer guys, Don Makowski and a few other players watching the game, like in live time. And same thing with Brian Noble for the Steelers, because it was all worked out where if the Vikings won, then the Steelers would get in the playoffs. And if the Bengals beat us, then the Bengals would have made it and the Steelers wouldn't have. And I mean, it was, 4 teams fighting for 2 spots that were all just hanging in the balance of that game. And of course, the Vikings ended up beating the Bengals and getting into the playoffs, knocking the Packers out. It was great. And it was all on Christmas Day. I watched it with my dad. I'm sure a lot of Viking fans have that same memory from that game, at least the fans that are old enough to remember it. Yeah, we could have had the same thing. I mean, what better Christmas Day than beating the Saints again?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just didn't work out that way.
And screw the Packers, too, by the way.
Exactly. Derrick Henry is going to run all over them tonight, by the way.
Now that I wouldn't mind seeing, to be honest.
That game is tonight. It's the NBC Sunday night game.
Yeah, it is. It is December 27th, just to throw that out there while we're on the topic. We could have done this sooner because it was a Friday game, but I was enjoying my Friday and Saturday.
You were busy with stuff yesterday.
I was enjoying my Friday and Saturday, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. But yeah, we obviously lost this in tremendous fashion, unlike that Bengal game.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
We're back to see a loss again. Ooh.
52-33.
I mean, I think it was the first half we were kind of hanging with them for the most part, right? We were like one score down,
pretty
not
much
even.
The first 3 quarters, really.
Yeah. And then it started to take a turn for the worse. Yeah, when somebody runs for 122 yards by the end of the first quarter and gets 6 total TDs, when you ain't stopping the run, when you're stopping the run like that, good luck. Good luck, man. Bye-bye.
Got to win that battle in the trenches.
Yeah, and we ain't winning shit. So who do you want to give the, we might as well say it right away, who do you want to give the turd of the week? Screw you game ball to?
Well, we gave it to Zimmer last week.
I wasn't even thinking of him, to be honest.
I'm not, I wouldn't give it to Zimmer for this week.
From what I know, if I have to pick a specific individual human being, it would be Jeff Gladney. If I could pick a whole conglomerate, it would be the entire trash defense.
Well, I will somewhat disagree with you on that.
Because even Zimmer said this is the worst defense he's ever had to coach.
I mean, Gladney missed a couple tackles.
Like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I would say...
Every play we watched, who was that? Oh, it was Gladney again.
Well, yeah, he missed a few tackles.
Like
I
4.
actually think the guy on defense that played the worst, like if I'm singling out one guy, would be Jaleel Johnson.
Oh, did I do that?
Jaleel Johnson had a terrible game. If I was giving it to a unit, I would give it to the defensive line.
Okay.
For the turd of the week. If I was picking out one guy, I would give it to Jaleel. I don't know.
Who do you think deserves it more, Jaleel or the whole D-line?
Well,
let's just throw the whole D-line in there.
I mean, the entire D-line was a bad game. I mean, there were a couple of guys that made a play here and there. Because I know Armon Watts got a tackle for like a 1-yard loss or something, I think.
I think our entire defense is just, they just look, because this was a short week too, but I think our entire defense is just, there's new names in there. Like you got Nickerson out there, you got Lynch out there, you got inexperienced people, you got new names out there. We're gassed, we're young, we're just like, fuck it, man.
Well, I wouldn't give it to the entire defense. I mean, Harrison Hand got a nice pick.
You're right. Harry the Hitman's always out there doing work. Nickerson even had a good play in there.
Well, that ball was tipped right to him.
True.
He held on to it. Blake Lynch, for an undrafted guy, I thought looked surprisingly decent.
And he's a linebacker? Okay.
Yep.
He's like 43?
48.
48? Okay.
Yep. I don't know. I'd be okay giving it to the D-line if you want.
Okay.
Just give it to the D-line.
Stamp of approval.
Turd of the week.
Turd of the week.
It's in the mail, Jaleel.
Jaleel Johnson played really bad, but there were a couple other D linemen that didn't do anything either. So, I mean, Shamar Stephan, where was he? Yeah, he didn't do much. So, we'll give it to the D line.
I feel like Shamar was great when he was like the worst person on our D line. He was still complimenting everybody else and getting a sack here and there. But the rest of the D-line around him was like superstars. Now when he's like the best, most veteran guy on the D-line,
that's not good.
Yeah, it's glaringly obvious that he's by far our best D-lineman. But he was just surrounded by talent before, so they made him look better, I think. And now that he is kind of like the main talent, if you will, yeah.
Our O-line played better than our D-line that game.
Wow, that's shocking.
Well, our O-line, it was kind of an up and down game for them. I mean, our O-line, there were some plays where we actually protected Cousins really well, and there were other plays where we were opening some huge holes for Dalvin. I mean, there were just other plays too where they got manhandled.
Yeah,
it was more up and down. It wasn't like the D-line that was just awful the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the first half there, we were gashing them, moving down the field okay. I mean, we didn't just look like trash. I mean, we still put up 33 points, for Christ's sake. I feel like if our defense would have done 3-4 times as better as it would have and actually showed up, we could have won this game.
Yeah, this game was on the D for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Our O, I mean, did their job. Average day. Kirk didn't go down that often. I think he got sacked once.
I think he got.
Look.
I think he got sacked more than once.
I shall look. Twice. So Cameron Jordan got credit for 1, and then Malcolm and David got 0.5s.
David Onyemata.
So that's 2 total. Technically.
Malcolm Jenkins and David Onyemata.
Yeah, that's 2 total. So I
remember the Cameron Jordan sack. He beat Ezra Cleveland pretty bad on that play.
Yeah,
which doesn't say much.
I mean, there was the one play where our O-lineman guy pretty much got pushed back into him, and then he just kind of went forward a little bit and just
Bradbury was
feebled on the
getting
ground.
pushed backwards quite a bit.
Yeah.
Ezra Cleveland actually had a decent game, I thought. I mean, Cam Jordan beat him on pretty bad on that sack, but
Yeah.
Cam Jordan is an elite pass rusher in this league.
Well, we need to get some smash mouth, gritty, strong, fucking elite guys on our own line.
Well, Dakota
man.
Dozier needs to go, for sure. Yeah, Garrett Bradbury, he's regressed a bit these last few weeks. He was having a decent year until, I don't know, a couple games ago.
Again, I think some people might be giving up. We're not going to make the playoffs. Everybody's fucking tired. It's been a strange year. It was a short week. Everybody's kind of done with this year, I think, man. Especially the fans.
Maybe some players are.
Especially the fans.
Well, what'd you think of the play calling for our offensive side of the ball this game?
Besides that glaringly one, that draw play that you pointed out too, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I thought everything was all right, but on
Play calling was okay.
yeah. And again, I mean, we put up 33 points. Wouldn't happen if there wasn't something clicking on offense. We're still making holes for Dalvin. We're still passing the ball down the field, short and long. I mean,
Yeah, we mixed it up on first down a fair amount,
Yeah.
run and pass.
Kubiak will do the predictable shit that gets stuffed every once in a while, but nobody's perfect. Otherwise, I thought he did fine, I guess.
Yeah, I'm with you on that whole second and short draw play thing. That's the second time at least the second time I've seen us run a draw play when it was, 2nd and 1 or 2nd and 2, which makes zero sense.
You know, I would be projecting something predictable and doing some sort of a trick on those.
Well, yeah, maybe throw it deep or something. A draw play is the sort of play you'd run like on 3rd and 10 or something when the D is thinking you're going to pass and you're trying to fool them.
Right.
If it's 2nd and 1 and they're looking to stop the run anyway,
Right, just stuff your ass right in the middle.
all a draw play does is give the defense an extra 2 seconds to get to the running back behind the line of scrimmage. That's all that does.
Good job, Gary.
So, yeah.
Great work. But yes, Kirk had a decent day. He was 27 for 41, 291 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, attaboy. Good stat line. Love to see 3 TDs on there.
He had a couple plays where he definitely held the ball way too long.
Yep, still a problem for him.
He still has that deer in the headlights look in the pocket a little too often for my taste, but all things considered, he played okay.
Yeah, he did fine. I mean, usually in this game, 27 for 41, that's not that bad, is it?
27 for 41.
I don't know what completion percentage that would be off the top of my head by just those numbers, I guess, but
yeah, 27 for 41 isn't.
I feel like it's not amazing.
Special. Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah. Dalvin was still our running game wasn't horrible. He was 15 carries, 73 yards, 1 TD, averaged 4.9. Still a decent day. That's like a slow day for him.
That's a very Dalvin-esque average. 4.9.
Right. Exactly.
That's right around where he's been all year.
Exactly. And Madison was not out there. Literally nobody else really did anything. I mean, Amir had 1 carry for 13 yards.
Abdullah had that end around that caught the Saints off guard. So he has that 13-yard average because he carried it once for 13.
Mm-hmm.
So as Mike Boone chipped in with a touchdown, which is nice.
Correct. Yep. 1 carry, 4 yards, and a TD. Yep. And Dalvin had a TD too. But honestly, our receiving core was the superstar of this game. Finally back in the lead after all these weeks of not being in our heart. Well, I mean, he's always in our hearts. Yeah, he's always in our hearts, but not at the top of the points in the leaderboards and the yards, if you will. It's our boy. Adam Thielen. And of course, that was from the Fantasy Footballers podcast. Check him out if you play fantasy football. Thielen was 8 for 9. Golden Gloves is back. 97 yards and 1 touchdown. Jefferson was, of course, out there still 6 for 10, 85 yards. still an important piece in catching great passes. Irv Smith again shining like a
Yeah,
diamond.
nice game for Irv.
2 touchdowns, 6 for 9, 53 yards. That, I really hope he is our tight end of the future. Slides right into Rudolph's place. Bam. We don't miss a beat. We got another great tight end that we can throw to, we can rely on. Talented, athletic.
I
blocks
think that will
too.
happen.
Good.
I
great.
think it will happen.
Great.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see us use Irv Smith as a pass catcher more, like we've been doing the last couple games.
Right.
I don't know why we weren't throwing to him earlier in the season. I think we should have been.
Who knows, man? Who knows why people and coaches and schemes go so heavily one way or another, and they can't just always be mixing stuff up. I don't know. I'll never know how that works. I don't get paid to know how that works. I'm just a nobody observing from the outside, looking in, but I feel like it really shouldn't be that hard of a fucking job. Tyler Conklin, Conky, was out there too, 4 for 6, 31 yards. BC had an important catch, 1 for 1 for 13 yards. Delvin was 2 for 2 at 12 yards. Yeah.
BC Johnson threw a nifty little juke move where he just
He
kind
did.
of stopped and stood still and let the Saint guy
He
dive
did.
right past him. And
He did. I still think that young man has a lot of promise. I'm not worried at all about our wide receiver core.
yeah,
tell you
you know,
that.
I kind of I'm comfortable with BC and BB as our 3 and 4 receivers
too.
next year.
Me too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think we have to spend a super early pick on a receiver for another year or two.
No, please put that into the offensive line. Please, for the love of
Yeah,
God.
well,
a quarterback in the O-line.
In a couple years, when Adam Thielen starts getting towards the end of his contract and he starts getting to be like 32, 33 years old,
Right.
then I might start thinking, okay, maybe we should take another good receiver,
Right.
early.
I feel like he's going to be one of those lifelong guys, though. Don't you? That he's not going to want to leave Minnesota. He's going to want to retire a Viking. I don't just see him trotting off to somewhere else. I really think he's a local guy. Was he a Gopher?
No, he was at MSU Mankato.
Oh yeah, Mankato. But I really feel like he's got his roots around here, and he's not just going to trot off to like the Saints.
Well, I agree with that. I don't think Adam Thielen will play for another team after he's done with the Vikings either.
Yeah.
The biggest question is
How
when
long?
will the team decide that they should move on?
Mm-hmm.
Because then, whenever the Vikings get to where they decide they're going to move on from Thielen, I think that's when Thielen will retire.
I could see him taking a pay cut too to stick around.
Yeah, maybe.
I could see that.
I could see that, yeah.
I could see that. All right. Kirk again did have a fumble. We didn't lose it. Kirk and Delvin both had a fumble. Neither one of them lost it, according to the statistics.
Kirk got pretty lucky that we ended up recovering his fumble.
Yeah. I feel like he's had more fumbles than again back to that Vikings Nation Facebook page going, I don't know why everybody wants him gone. Look at all of his picks this year and look at all his fumbles this year.
Well,
That's why
Cousins
I want him gone.
Yeah, he's second in the NFL in interceptions so far, right?
He's got to be up there. If he ain't fucking 2, he's got to be up there.
I thought Carson
So
Wentz
there's-
was leading the NFL in picks, and then Cousins was second.
Poor Carson.
Well, and Cousins does fumble more than he
Yeah.
should.
He does. He's thinking about the next Pizza Ranch commercial, bro.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
And you know what? These wide receivers are making him look better than he fucking is. I'll just say
there
it.
might be something to that too. I mean,
I'll just say it.
there was that one really underthrown ball that Irv Smith made a great catch on in this game to help Cousins out.
I think Jefferson's made him look good too because Jefferson's got the real talent.
Kind of like how Mike Evans made Johnny Manziel look really good in college.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
I would still say Cousins is a decent QB.
Yes.
But it definitely helps him having elite receivers to throw to.
Like if you would put him, if you go put him like back on the Redskins, go put him on the Jags, go put him on the Bengals. Guess what? They probably ain't even breaking 500. So,
Well, his numbers would definitely take a hit if he went to those teams. If he went to the Redskins, he has Terry McLaurin to throw to, I guess, and he's not bad. and he would have Antonio Gibson running the ball, and then what?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, here he's got Dalvin Cook. I mean, we're still not winning. We're not 500 anymore again. We're still not winning games. And he's got the best running back in the league, the two best tandem of wide receivers in the league, the two best running backs, actually, with Cook and Madison. He's got one of the best tight ends in the league.
Kirk has a lot of really nice weapons around him.
He's got the best new rookie wide receiver of the league. That's all, folks. I mean, give me a fucking break, dude.
Well,
he has so many good pieces around him.
Well, he will get another chance next year, hopefully after we've gotten our defensive guys back and our corners have a year of playing better. And
it's like mashed potatoes. On their own, they're garbage. But if you razzle them and dazzle them with salt and pepper and sour cream and some cheese and some bacon bits, well, now you got a little superstar mashed potato meal. But on its own, baked potatoes are boring as fuck, bro.
Well, you're making me hungry now.
Baked potatoes are boring as fuck. Give me fries, man. But just a baked potato on its own? Get the fuck out of here. It's so bland and boring and tasteless. You gotta douse it in shit to make it good. I think Kirk Cousins is like a baked potato. You have to douse him in talent, and then it's like, hey, this guy is great. But if you take all that talent away, you got a boring, bland baked potato.
That's the first time I've ever heard him compared to a potato.
Well, isn't that better than the human cup of ranch?
Well, I gotta admit, that made me laugh the hardest.
It was funny.
Calling him a human cup of ranch dressing.
It's a funny line, whether you like him or not, whether you're a Vikings fan or not, whether you're a Kirk fan or not. It was just kind of a funny line, to be honest with you. Where did you see that again, anyway? Was that just on Twitter or something?
It was on a Deadspin article I read a year ago, I think.
All right. Anyway, back to the game breakdown. Enough of my rant about how mediocre good Kirk is. Nickerson.
Now we switch to the defense?
Yes, let's go to the defense.
All right.
Hoadley Nickerson got an interception, and he had a pass deflected. Harrison Hand, the Double H man, had a pick.
What a nice pick.
And two passes defended. Sorry, defended, not deflected.
All right, way to go, Hand.
Eric Wilson almost got that pick, and then also had two passes deflected. So those three were definitely doing their best to hold it down. Lynch is at the top of the tackling and assist leaderboard, but you said that actually wasn't a good stat to have, correct? Because that means that they're actually catching the ball all the time around you.
As a linebacker, I'm okay with it.
True. But as a corner, you don't want to see a lot of tackling.
You don't want a corner or a safety to lead the team in tackles. If everything is going well, usually a linebacker will be your tackle leader for the team. For being an undrafted guy, I thought Blake Lynch didn't look too bad.
Yeah. I mean, we're working with what we got, man. But we're very young. There's new people everywhere. Gladney had a poor
a
game.
tough day. Yeah.
We watched him miss about 4 tackles and be in bad positions maybe sometimes.
He let Taysom Hill beat him pretty bad on a pass play too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yep.
Harrison Hand had 1 assist and no tackles.
That's fine. I mean,
that's what you want to see.
Yeah, he's a corner. The 2 passes defended that's a good stat.
Dantzler had 1 tackle and no assists.
Sure.
That means his guy ain't getting thrown to / he ain't catching the ball.
Yeah, I don't think Dantzler was really targeted a whole lot. He hasn't been for a while now. He's
our new shutdown.
I think the word's getting around the league that Dantzler is legit.
Right. That's what I like to see. Anything else about the defense before we go on to rag on our kicker?
Well, the defensive line was awful. It was one of the worst displays of football I've ever seen from a defensive line in any game.
We did give them the turd of the week, after all.
Yeah, Jaleel Johnson needs to go. I'm done with Jaleel.
No, did he do that? No.
I liked him coming out of Iowa a few years ago in the draft. I was happy when we took him in the 3rd round. He's definitely a guy that has done a lot less in the NFL than I thought he would. So he's a guy I think I'm starting to think I was wrong about him. It'd be nice if Shamar Stephan could get replaced too. If they want to keep him as a backup one tech, I guess I'm okay with that.
Yeah, he's definitely he's been a body. He's been an extra rotational body for a while, not a starter.
Yeah, he's
He's only been a starter when he has to be.
We're kind of paying him like a starter. We're giving him.
He's a veteran now.
He's a veteran.
He's done his job for the most part.
I don't want him starting, and I don't want him in the 3-tech spot. If he is Michael Pierce's backup next year, I'm okay with that.
Right. When
I mean,
Pierce has to
that
take a
means we
break
need to find a couple of guys to put in the 3-tech spot.
Right.
Armand Watts should get first crack at it, I think, unless we spend a first-round pick on a stud 3-tech in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean...
What's going on with our D-line coaching? I feel like our D-line's been so good for so long. Even with these new guys, I feel like we should be coaching them up.
Well, I think the coaching is still good. DJ Wanham is looking like a starting defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
I think Patterson is doing what he can with what he has.
Yeah.
A lot of it is mostly just talent deficiencies. I don't think it's bad coaching.
All right.
I think it's just guys that don't have the talent. Like Jaleel Johnson, Shamar Stephan. I think they're getting coached well. They're just not that good.
But Jaleel is a swim move. And he's been good.
Boy, we are dropping some old school references from like 3 years ago today.
Again, like when Jaleel was, I feel like last year Jaleel was starting to shine.
Jaleel has regressed.
All right. Well, could it be that he doesn't have the people around him helping influence him too, helping him practice, helping him, like open an opportunity? Daniil draws a double team so somebody else gets to get in there type of stuff.
That's a very interesting question. Did Linval Joseph leaving, did that affect practice habits of some of these other D linemen?
I guarantee you he was an influence and a leader in the locker room, and now that's gone.
I don't know the answer to that.
I've said it before.
But that is a very interesting question that I hadn't thought of, because Linval Joseph being gone, that does destabilize the interior D-line quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what Michael Pierce was supposed to do, is, restabilize it. That's why we signed him.
And he probably hasn't even been around the team that much. He probably hasn't even been in the trenches with them practicing even that much yet.
Well, yeah, he's not practicing.
Yeah, he just been MIA because of the goddamn corona.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I'm not ragging on him for that, but he's not even like melded into the team yet. He's still so new. He hasn't got he hasn't had a chance to get in there and get to know everybody and start syncing with everybody. So hopefully that will happen, but it hasn't happened yet.
Well, the spot we definitely need to draft at some point in the draft next year is 3-tech.
All right.
I'm okay if we don't draft a DE. I mean, we have Daniil Hunter coming back. We got DJ Wanham. We got all sorts of depth. Hercules Mataafa, Kenny Willicus, Eddie Yarborough, Jordan Brailford maybe could get a shot at being a backup.
Adenabo is going to keep doing good.
Well, and 1-tech, we have Michael Pierce coming back. So he's our 1-tech. And if we keep Stephan, there's your backup. And even if we let Stephan go, I mean, you can draft.
We'll find a guy.
You can draft a backup 1-tech in the 6th round, 7th round. That's fine.
We'll just grab somebody off the street. It'll be fine.
We need a 3-tech. Unless Armand Watts steps up next year and becomes a good starting 3-tech, I mean, we have nobody for that role. So that's a spot we need to draft, in my humble opinion.
We just got to not blow it.
You blew it. Capiche?
Just don't blow it.
Now, I mean, that's where not having our 2nd round pick could come back to haunt us.
I still think the O-line should be focused on before the D-line, but that's just me.
Well, that could be... See, where I would fall on that argument depends on who's there when we pick. Because I would say you got to go where the talent is in the draft when you're picking.
And I don't disagree with that, and we usually are good about doing that. We'll take the most talented guy next available, regardless of his position. I'm okay with that.
We need to draft both.
But I'm getting tired of seeing this O-line suck ass, though, too.
Yeah, we got to draft both for sure. I mean, we need a new left guard. Dakota Dozier's got to go. We need a 3-tech. I still would like to take a QB, as long as there's a QB. If there isn't a QB in the first round worth taking when we get to that spot in the draft next year, then by all means, O-line, D-line, whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
If Trey Lance is there, Like if we're picking, I don't know, 14th or wherever we end up picking, if Trey Lance is there for us, I mean, what better chance are we going to have to get a potential franchise QB like that?
And if we lose these last two games, which we're already
Last game,
last two in theory, that's moving us up in the draft position, correct?
well, yeah. Yeah,
Ha-ha!
we might end up beating Detroit next week.
Huzzah! Oh,
But
come on, tank for Lance,
well,
baby.
we're gonna be in the top half somewhere. We're not
All
gonna
right.
have a top 10 pick.
All right.
We're gonna be somewhere
Maybe like
between
14, like you said, 14,
11
15,
to-
16.
11 to 16, something
Yeah,
like
that'd
that.
be cool. All right. Well, and it's going to depend on what they're going to do with Kirk, too.
Well, we can get into the draft in a future episode. We
we
usually
got
have
a great
an episode completely for the draft.
there's a solid pre-draft episode and then a breakdown of what happened after it.
Yeah, that'll be coming in April or May, whatever.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
So there we go.
but I do still hope that we focus on O-line because I'm kind of getting. And in our front office's defense, we've been drafting O-line and they haven't been working out. Pat Elflein, bust. Garrett Bradbury, hopefully still good. Could end up being a bust.
Yeah, Garrett Bradbury could go either way at this point. I still think he is going to turn it around and he's going to be a good center. I still think he is. But he is kind of trending towards maybe being a more bust-worthy guy.
I mean, if you look at all the people, and maybe I can gather this information for off season when we're not week to week anymore to get to drum up some more stuff to talk about. But if you look at every single O lineman that we've taken over the last 5 years, how many of them have actually worked out, stuck around, and been like good, like above average, like average above average?
I'll say Brian O'Neill for
Yep,
sure.
That's all that comes to mind for me.
Ezra Cleveland.
Okay, that's new, but okay.
He's a rookie, but I'd say
Yeah.
he's an average O lineman right now.
Still yet to see what happens. Yes.
But he's a long way to go and everything. But I'd say Ezra Cleveland.
Keep going, because now it's going to be a cliff, isn't it?
Well, if you would have asked me a month ago, I would have
Right.
said Garrett Bradbury.
right. But now that's
After
still
these
on the
last
fence.
few games, I don't think I can say that anymore.
Yet.
But again, he's a guy. He could go either way right now.
Right.
So,
Okay.
um,
All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks. We're drafting O-linemen, and they're just shitting their sweatpants. I feel bad for the Vikings organization because you can sit and rag on Rick and his picks all day long. Some of these players just end up sucking. Like that's Rick Spielman's fault. I mean, you draft this guy, you get Pat Elflein. How's Rick supposed to know he's going to just shit the bed, get hurt a couple times, and float off to another team and not end up working out? Yeah, like he could have seen that coming. Like he knew that going into the pick. Give me a break, man.
well, every GM misses on some players here and there.
Right.
I have to admit, I liked getting Pat Elflein in the third round in 2017 also. I liked that pick at the time.
Yeah.
And I mean,
It's
yeah,
not
it
his
ended
problem he didn't fucking work out.
ended up not working. I
Hey,
don't.
It happens a lot in the NFL, actually.
I don't blame him for that. It does happen a lot. People should remember, for draft picks, it's like worse than a coin flip as far as if it's going to be like a starting caliber player you're getting. The NFL draft is kind of a game of failure, sort of like baseball. They call it a game of failure because, if you fail 7 out of 10 times at the plate, you're considered a good hitter because you're hitting 300.
Right.
I mean, the thing is, you got 9 guys in the field that are trying to stop you from getting a hit
Right.
when you come up and take your swing.
The odds are stacked against you.
In the NFL, the odds are kind of stacked against you on that the same way because there are only so many good players to go around every year, and it is a bit of a crapshoot, bit of a mystery on who those good players are and everything. I think Spielman, for the most part, has actually done a pretty good job at drafting. I think he has.
I think a lot of people would argue with us, but I agree with you. I like the guy as a person. I like him in the office. I like how he's drafted. He focuses on getting a lot of picks, not necessarily just the highest numbers in the order,
He
in the
trades
draft
down
order.
a fair
Right.
amount.
He just tries to get 10. He's gotten probably more than most GMs year after year after year. He gets the most players out of the draft. And look at the value he's gotten out of some of his 5th rounds, his 6th rounds.
I mean, if draft picks are a throwing of the darts anyway, let's just get as many throws at that dart as you can, right?
Pretty much, but I think a lot of people would disagree with us, and that's okay. But I've never had really a real problem with Spielman or Zimmer, honestly.
Well, I can understand both sides of that argument because you are more likely to get a good player in the 1st round than you are in the 7th round.
Mm-hmm.
So people being angry at him stockpiling 7th round picks, it's understandable.
Right.
At the same time, I mean, there is a practice squad to fill out.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, look at some of the undrafted players we have that are great players, like Adam Thielen.
Yep.
I mean, who's to say? I mean, if you get a Pro Bowl player in the 7th round,
you're a certified genius.
I mean, isn't that worth it?
Yeah.
I mean, you might not.
It's probably
get
far
that
and few
guy.
between. It's probably 1 in 20 or 1 in 30, but it happens.
I mean, you're more likely to get a Pro Bowler in the 7th round if you draft 5 guys in the 7th round than if you draft 1.
Correct.
So I mean, there are arguments on both sides for sure. Yeah. I just think if you look at the picks he's made, that for the most part, I understand them. Now, earlier in his time at GM, he waited way too long to draft O-linemen, I thought. He took John Sullivan in the 6th round. I think it was 2010. I want to say it was either 08 or 010, I think, something like that. And he was a Pro Bowl offensive lineman for a couple years with us. And I think he kind of said, oh, geez, I can get Pro Bowl O-lineman in the 6th round. Why would I bother spending a, early pick on an O-lineman? And he ended up eventually learning from that because we had terrible O-line after terrible O-line. And he finally realized, oh, geez, maybe I do actually have to spend an early pick on an O-lineman once in a while. So to his credit, I mean, Brian O'Neill, 2nd round, Garrett Bradbury, 1st round, Ezra Cleveland, 2nd round this past year. So I think he is actually somewhat learning from his mistakes.
He's trying.
All
you can do is fucking try. It's like having pocket aces in poker. A lot of things are like having pocket aces in poker. You go all in, you flip those bad boys over, and then it's just hope I win. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. You're putting yourself in the best position, making the right decision, flipping your aces over, playing them properly. Nothing else you can do then after that. It's kind of out of your hands. Hope this works. It's the same thing. I'm taking this draft pick. I'm putting myself in a good spot. I'm taking this great player. He was great in college. Hope this works out. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. What else are you going to do?
Well, personally, I would like to give Spielman one more year.
Squeaky ass microphone.
I mean, I'd say with this team, with Cousins as our QB, Zimmer's the head coach, Spielman's GM, when you decide to fire one of them, you might as well just fire all 3 of them. I would say then you fire all 3 of them, get a new GM, new head coach, and make sure that the GM or the head coach is good at picking QBs, and make sure you maybe draft a good QB and you just start over. That's what I would say my thoughts are on that.
I got to admit, I like Zimmer. I like we've had a good defense for a long time, longer than before Zimmer. It's been the Vikings' MO is a good defense, back to the Purple People Eaters. But I wouldn't mind bringing in a head coach and a GM who's going to focus on, like you just said, QB, have that eye for a QB, have that coaching for a QB, focus on QB and O-line and offense in general. I wouldn't mind bringing in some offensive mind instead of a defensive mind. I think it died because it's been off the power cord and its battery is shit. It's not going to turn back on because it's dead and it's not plugged in.
Yeah, A-Train's talking about my laptop that just shut down.
That's fine. Well, you're going to sit there and not wonder why, so I thought I'd just explain it to you.
Okay.
But I'm ready to make a change. Change is good. It's not bad. Don't be scared of it. I'm ready to have an offensive-minded coach instead of a defensive-minded coach. I think it'd be fine. I'd be fine with that. Healthy change. Let's try it out.
Well, I'll play devil's advocate with you here for a second. I want a good head coach, whether he's an offensive or a defensive mind. The first guy,
I want a shitty head coach.
Well,
I want someone from the Brown. Oh wait, that's Stefanski. I want someone from the Bengals. Come on, let's get in a shitty.
Well,
head coach.
all I'm saying is, I mean, my first pick, like if I could pick one guy to be our next head coach, I would go with Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator for the 49ers. I think he's the best head coach candidate out there right now. I mean, I realize he would be our third defensive-minded head coach in a row. Just as long as we get a good quarterback. Like,
Wait, you think Frazier was a good defensive mind?
Well, he wasn't a good defensive. He was a defensive mind. He was a defensive head coach, is what I mean.
I'm not having this bullshit.
Don't you? I don't even want to think about Leslie Frazier. Ugh, get that
we don't have
taste
to.
out of my brain.
We don't
Disgusting.
have to. We can just leave it as
Worthless
Saleh would
trash.
be our third defensive head coach in a row. I'd like to go with Saleh. I mean, the biggest thing is we just need a GM that can draft a good quarterback. I mean, just think about it. If we have a defensive-minded head coach that knows what he's doing as much as Saleh does, we have a good defensive head coach that drafts really well defensive side of the ball, which he has every team he's been with. If we can just get that Pat Mahomes level QB, just get the good quarterback, it won't matter as much who our offensive coordinator is. But if we pair a great quarterback with a Robert Saleh defense, we would be contending for a Super Bowl every year.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. And if you get a if we build that O-line and we get a good quarterback, the offensive line coordinator could be a rotating door. The defense even, we want it to be good, but not having to rely on it all the time. Being able to win a shootout would be nice. Being
Absolutely.
able to, I mean, look at the Packers for all these years. They've been able to marry their way through shootouts, but their defense is not exactly anchoring them to the ground of the wins. It's the offense every time. It's, look, another scramble play from Rodgers at the last second for a touchdown. It ain't their fucking defense holding them to the wins. Give me a break, man. I'd almost rather have
their
a
defense
shootout.
Is a little better than it has been.
Yeah,
before.
yes.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is still playing at an MVP level, though. That's probably the biggest reason they're doing well. They've caught some good luck along the way also. But
no.
That's another discussion.
Talking about.
I mean, there are some offensive minds out there that are worth a head coaching spot also.
Yeah.
I like Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Panthers.
No, Tom Brady's uncle, yeah. Yeah?
I don't think so.
Yeah, is that him?
I mean, I like Joe Brady. I like Greg Roman well enough. If we hired Greg Roman as a head coach, I would be okay with that. I would just prefer Robert Saleh personally, but that's just me.
What if we bring Robert Saleh in and he says, we're bringing in Carson Wentz. Get in here, bud.
Well, I mean, Carson Wentz might still have some potential.
I think it'd be great if he came over, to be honest. I mean, what person from this area wouldn't want to see that?
Well, his contract is almost as big as Cousins' though. If we could get...
With how he's playing, I think he could take a pay cut.
Well, if we got Carson Wentz without the contract, I would be okay with that as long as we had a young QB to compete with him.
Right.
I wouldn't want to bring in Carson Wentz as our only starting option at QB with a new head coach, whatever. I would say draft a good QB and have him compete with Wentz. That's what I would look for if we were in that position. If you look at Robert Saleh's track record with the teams he's been on and the players that his teams have drafted over the years, he's a very good personnel mind. Like, he's really good with drafting, and so that's the guy I would want personally.
All right. Well, let's wrap up this Saints game now that we're talking so much about head coaches. We can get into that in the offseason, too.
It's natural to look forward right now.
Oh,
the
yeah.
season's done.
Pretty much. And looking forward to the to wrap up the game if we have to. What's worth a shit here?
Well, I'm running blind right now. I'm going to need you to do some recapping.
Yeah, you're always blind. Anyway. Time of possession, obviously, we got dominated 36-23.
Yes,
Penalties were us 3, not horrible, them 4. That's kind of low for both teams, to be honest. Otherwise,
the referees were fine. The referees did a good job of not calling the ticky-tack stuff. And
yeah, I didn't hear anybody bitching about a play call in this game like the prior game.
The refereeing was fine. I thought it was fair on both sides.
Dan Bailey, of course, he was 3 for 4 on extra points, so only 1. He didn't try to kick a field goal. I'm sure Zimmer doesn't want to be in that position as much as possible. But yes, he was 3 for 4 in extra points. Not quite enough to earn the Turd of the week, but we'll see. I kind of hope he's gone for next year.
That's another spot we might need to look to in the draft.
I got the feeling. I don't know about drafting a kicker, but I don't think Danny Boy is going to be with us next season. Just a hunch.
Well, either draft a kicker in the 7th round or go after a big time UDFA.
Right. Okay. But yeah, let's look forward to the future and to the last game of the season. Part of me for draft position does almost just say, fuck it. But week 17 is Sunday, January 3rd, a 12 p.m., back to a good old 12 p.m. Central noon game. We go to Ford Field, where the fake grass is hard on our cankles. The Detroit Lions are the last game of the season. Tune in on your local Fox station for some hot stove baseball and a swig and a miss. I'm assuming we're going to win this. We don't even need to do the score prediction game. But
yeah, we're done
I
with
mean,
that.
you think we're going to win, though, right? I mean, it's the Lions.
I think we probably will beat the Lions. We're in better shape than the Lions are. One thing I'm kind of hoping to see from this game, I'm kind of hoping we give some young guys a start. Like, let's start Oli Udo. Let's
just kind of say fuck it and put in the.
Well, let's put Ezra Cleveland at left tackle and see how he does at left tackle.
Yeah.
Let's try to get a look.
I
at
like
these, that. Let's give Oli Udo a shot at
I doubt
guard.
they'll do it, but I like that.
I mean, I would say this is a game where starters that probably won't be with the team next year should be benched. We should be looking at the young guys, give the young guys a shot. This game doesn't matter for playoffs anyway. So, you know
It's
what?
kind of like a preseason
I
game.
do not want to see Dakota Dozier starting this game next week.
So much hatred for Dakota Dozier.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, treat it like a preseason game.
Yeah.
Let's give Ezra
There's nothing
Cleveland,
on the line. Just stretch the legs on some players.
Let's give Ezra Cleveland to start at left tackle and see how he looks at left tackle. Let's give Oli Udo a shot instead of Dakota Dozier.
That guy who's like Ronster says, he's a saloon door.
I mean, I would say let's give some of these young guys a start, see how they look, and we have something to go on going into next year.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want.
Just don't leave me baffled, Vikings. Don't lose to the Lions and leave me baffled.
I remain traumatized, devastated, demoralized, shell-shocked, blindsided, and ultimately completely and utterly confounded and baffled by what I saw on the last 3 offensive plays in the drive of the game.
That's how I would feel if we lose to the Lions to end this bad season.
Well, most fans are going to be cheering for a loss to have a better
just for
draft
like
pick and everything.
Well, I mean, when you put it that way, it's like, hey, let's get as high as we can to take that quarterback that we want. Okay, cool, but you can't just lay on the field and.
Well, I get what you're saying, because if we try to win this game, like
which we will,
if we go in, we try to win, and we can't beat the Lions, that will be demoralizing.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, if we go in and just try a bunch of different stuff, like I said, if we are just giving new guys a chance and we end up losing, it's like, well, okay, we were, shit happens. But I mean, if we go in trying as hard as we can to win, like treating it like a playoff game, and we can't beat the Lions, it'll be nice to get that draft positioning, but it will be demoralizing losing to them.
Yeah. All right.
So that's about it.
I'm sure it'll be a win. I mean, we hung with the Saints and gashed them for
now that we're out of the
33
playoff
yards.
picture, we'll win a game. Sure.
Right, exactly. When it's not on the line, when the season's on the line, we like to fold like a cardboard box. When it's a preseason style game, we show up and we game hard, baby.
I'm sure Bailey will make a 57-yard field goal at the buzzer to win it.
We'll be like, Bailey's a god. He's a kicking god. Bow down. All right, everybody. Well, stay safe out there. Enjoy the rest of your New Year's. New Year's is right around the corner. It's 4 days away.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Happy New Year to everybody. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas.
Yep. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. Again, go trade in your Packers jersey for an I'm Was Stupid shirt from odinsdenpodcast.com. Check us out online, of course, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and our merchandise. We would really appreciate it. We want to thank you for listening. Have a good rest of your week of December 27th. The snow is finally falling here in good old North Dakota. I had to shovel today a little bit for the first time, which pisses me off and annoys me, but I'm a townhome owner now, so you got to do what you got to do. All right, well, any final words from the rambling hammer over there?
Hammer out.
All right.
I'm not having this bullshit.
Zimmer wanted to hear some more passion in your ending words, but all right.
Oh, can you play that Skip Bayless drop one more time?
All right.
I remain traumatized, devastated, demoralized, shell-shocked, blindsided, and ultimately completely and utterly confounded and baffled by what I saw on the last 3 offensive plays in the drive of the game.
You know, I don't want to feel like Skip watching the Cowboys, but this season has gotten real close.
Skip Bayless, fresh off his stint with the Lollipop Guild.
Demoralized, traumatized, something else eyes, honey glazed ham, Christmas turkey. All right. Stay safe, everybody. Go get your vaccines and go carve your turkeys and wear your Thielen jerseys and have a good rest of your week. We'll be back to break down the Lions game. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Odin's Den. Be sure to follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. Get all of the latest at odinsdenpodcast.com. Skål!
You blew it. Capiche?